Okay, so before you start to run any sort of ad like Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, there are 5 steps that you need to take before you can even consider running an ad. And usually the only reasons why someone does consider running ads at such a quick or fast pace is because they're feeling the pinch through like a lack of sales, and they're feeling pressured from the install and service techs that they have, because most of them are they're sitting at home, right? So you think the fastest way to get them back in the van and on the roads is to start running ads. And if that's you, then this video is going to be for you. But that pressure that you're feeling shouldn't just make you want to just jump straight into it without any information on how to make it better or get the most out of it. So the first thing, which is the most important thing, is to implement some sort of tracking inside your business, which means you have to understand where every call is coming in from, what calls are leading to booked jobs, and how much revenue are those jobs bringing in, which means you have to implement some sort of call tracking, form tracking, and attributions tied back to the ad. And what all that means is just like have something implemented to track each lead source. Your Google, your Facebook, your YouTube, there has to be some sort of tracking number or something behind it. If I were to ask you how much money your tech generated leads have gotten your business in like the last month or so, and you tell me you don't know the specific number or you're guessing a number, I'm going to tell you right now that you're not ready to run ads. You need to fix that, and you have to be able to answer that question. And what I've seen is most people will just skip this step because they want the quick answer, they want the quick route, they want to just jump right in. But I'm going to tell you that's going to be the wrong idea. You're going to end up going through a bunch of losses. You're going to end up spending way more budget on what you really need, which is going to cause for more problems, higher expenses through your ads, and then you're going to have lower conversions. And you're going to have no idea what's going wrong unless you start tracking everything. And on a side note, this is exactly what we help with. We help residential HVAC businesses grow their business by tracking, selling more, and staying in control. And if that's something that interests you, if you go down to the description, there's going to be a link. You can get in touch with us. We could just have a quick conversation. Now, the second most important thing is going to be all about your front desk and how your phones are getting answered. If you have calls coming in that are going unanswered, going to voicemail, or if your CSR doesn't have a proper framework on handling the calls that come in, then you're going to have to implement some sort of call booking script that the CSR can have up right beside their screen so they can follow and fill out every time a lead comes in. And they'll also know what questions to ask to get the highest booking rate possible, which means you need to implement some sort of system that is repeatable and can be handed off to anybody in that role. So not only is this going to be helping your ads, but say your CSR leaves and you're down like an office admin. You have a system to hire a new office admin that can do exactly what your old CSR could do. The third thing is knowing your unit economics, which is just knowing your numbers. This probably sounds obvious, but you'll be surprised at how many people that I've talked to that just don't understand or don't know their close rate. A simple number that you should know right off the bat, even if you're doing $500K a year, even if you're doing $3 million a year, you need to know that number. You also need to know your booking rate, your gross margin percentages, and the maximum cost per job. This all ties back to what I said earlier about tracking. You can implement tracking features for both of these. And if you don't know your break-even costs, you're going to be running ads at almost like $500-$600 a lead, not acquisition, a lead. If nothing else is working properly, I can guarantee you will see lead costs way above $300, $300, $400, $500. You don't want that. So really what I'm trying to get at here is that you need to understand how much you can afford to pay per lead and per acquisition cost. If you go into that blind, you're spending an absurd amount of money on just getting the lead in your business. Now, the last piece is going to be about backend monetization. And pretty much what I mean by this is once you do have the lead and you've booked that call, What are you doing with it? How are you getting the most value out of that? So you should have some sort of upsell, like a maintenance plan, some sort of duct cleaning offer, financing options, follow-ups implemented to get that customer back into your business. It's just going to all tie down to the lifetime value of that customer. How do you increase that? Because every customer you end up getting from an ad don't look at it as like a one and done customer. That's not the objective. I know you're trying to substitute ads to bring in some sort of lack of sales or to keep your install or service guys happy because they're at home. That is the goal. But it also means that you need to grab that lead, that acquisition, and make the most out of it. Now, I'll end the video off here by just saying that if you do plan on running ads and you don't do any of this, ads won't help you scale your business, and it won't help the short-term problem that you're experiencing. They're only going to hurt you in the short term and the long term. So you got to build the right systems that are in place to give you the most out of everything.